morning, and thank you very much for inviting us to Turkey to speak at this Congress. Today I would like to talk about the risk young people face when they become porn consumers. I will look at how we can think about the situation and how we can change it perhaps for whole countries. Mary Sharp has looked at the individual, Gary Wilson has been looking at the brain science. I want to think more on the big picture. The world now views a lot of pornography. The largest pornography supplier, a company called Pornhub, last year supplied 87 billion videos. That is 12 billion pornographic videos for every person on Earth. There are other providers. If you didn't watch your 12 videos, someone else had to watch them for you. What do we know about young people watching? To find out, I looked at 150 studies last year that investigated young people's use of sexual material on the internet. I have found 15 studies, which gives us a reasonable size set of data. These studies all look at people who choose to look at pornography. This is not about accidental exposure. It is not about one of your friends forcing you to see the pornography. The countries in my sample are Australia, Bulgaria, Cambodia, Cyprus, the Czech Republic, England, Germany, Hong Kong, Italy, Morocco, the Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden. It's quite a mixed group. The samples for boys look like this. The age of the boys is along the bottom, 10-year-old boys to 20-year-old, and going up the side up to 100% of all of the boys in the sample. Every dot is a sample from a published study. At about 15 years of age, boys in many countries are watching pornography at a rate of between 20 and 60%. Roughly half of boys want to watch pornography. By the time we get them to age 17 or 18, all of the samples I could find are watching pornography at a minimum of 85%. I have data going older for 19, 20, 21-year-old. All of them are also at the high level. For the girls watching pornography, when they are 15 years old, you can see there's a group at the bottom there. Girls are not very interested in watching pornography on the internet. It's maybe 10% voluntarily watch it. But as they get older, you can see that the numbers spread out. And the countries in particular of Northern Europe are the ones where they tend to watch more. Countries like Germany or Sweden or the Netherlands. What are the takeaways from this? Worldwide, where you have high-speed internet, we know that the average age of a person first seeing internet pornography is about 14 years. It is quite young, and it's certainly younger than it ever was in the days when pornography came in magazines. Boys have a high level of use, and if you're a therapist and you have a person who has issues, you should always try and find out, always ask a male whether or not they are using, because the thing they come in to treat may be quite different to actually the problem. Girls clearly have low voluntary use, but because boys and girls live together, they become married couples, the two work together. If one is using pornography, the other one will be affected, the family will be affected. Sorry. So what is the impact of internet pornography on sexual behaviour, and particularly for young people? Three sorts of areas. First, it changes the way young people behave. Pornography is now the way people learn about sex. Sex education around the world is not very strong, and most young people learn how sex is done by watching pornography. This is not clever. It reduces their inhibitions and makes them do more sexually adventurous things. But most importantly, by showing sex in ways that are not normal or traditional or often even all that healthy, it is encouraging people to do things that will endanger their health, and it is not a sensible way of learning. So I think there's issues there. Secondly, there are the way it changes the person as a consumer of pornography and as a sexual person. Each of the issues I have up there are serious issues. The idea that someone can view pornography for 5 or 10 years while still a virgin, that is strange. That's never happened before in human history. We have escalation. When a drug, you need more. With pornography, you need more interesting, more shocking, more different, more novel. And that means you have escalation. Sometimes you escalate to sorts of pornography that do not match your orientation. You are heterosexual, you may end up watching homosexual pornography, or vice versa. This does strange things to your mind. Equally, you may escalate over a period of time to things that are illegal, particularly pornography showing children. This is illegal under United Nations Convention, and you will go to jail in almost every country in the world for looking at this. This is dangerous. Then there are the harms that actually happen to you on a direct basis. Gary Wilson has already talked about addiction and social isolation, and many of the speakers have mentioned pornography in the context of it is unhelpful. It changes your sexual behaviour, it decreases your sexual performance. It also, most importantly to me, changes the way men and women react and interact. It is making men more hateful towards women. This is a very bad thing. It's also making people unhappy with their bodies. You only see perfect bodies in much of pornography, and that means that you need to behave in a perfect way, and it makes you unhappy with who you are. We see people getting more plastic surgery. We see more bodybuilding for the men. We see women shaving all of their body hair off because that's shown in pornography. And it's new in human history. These things didn't happen before. So my main point is that if internet pornography may be causing problems and we aren't sure, we should use what is called the precautionary principle. This is enshrined in a lot of law. It's mainly used for risk management around the world. The European Union, and I know Turkey has, I hope to become part of the European Union in due course, has a legal framework, and this is what it tells us, the precautionary principle. And very simply it says that until we know that something is not causing harm, we should not be using it. We have seen, the three people on the panel, lots of evidence that it is causing harm. But the studies so far are correlations. So if it's not proven safe, is it a good idea that the world is watching almost 100 billion videos just from the biggest company and 100 million from the next 3 companies, and our children and young people watching pornography all of the time as normal entertainment? Now, I would ask you to think about tobacco and what has happened with tobacco over the last 50, 60 years. It has gone from being a product that the tobacco growers and manufacturers said was good and could not cause harm. It is now something that it took whole population studies, because many people can smoke tobacco until they are very old and they're okay. But if you look at the population, it's clear that it was having health effects. And I believe in the case of pornography, we have very similar companies who are not being socially responsible, providing material, and they are giving us a product that they cannot demonstrate is safe. So I call on governments everywhere, and in Turkey, and I live in the United Kingdom, I'm a citizen there, I am also a citizen in Australia, to think about whether or not they should be controlling the amount of pornography coming in and making it so easy. It's now free, it's 24 hours a day, it's available at 2 or 3 clicks from any search engine. We heard yesterday about safe search engines, but most people don't use safe search engines. They use Google or Bing or Yahoo. The United Kingdom government is currently investigating whether or not there should be age restrictions to stop young people having easy access. They're thinking in terms of when you buy a mobile phone, you have to put a credit card number into the phone to get the phone to work to show you pornography. Most people use mobile phones around the world for pornography, or mobile devices. It is now roughly worldwide 70% mobile device, 30% fixed. So mobile is the normal way to watch pornography in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, everywhere, in America. The Australian Senate has just done an inquiry, and the Reward Foundation put in a submission to them, which was only published yesterday. They've had 280 public comments so far they have published, the majority of which suggest that allowing young people unlimited access to pornography is not a good idea. So is this an opportunity for governments to be bold, and perhaps it's time for us to have less access to unlimited free adult entertainment? Thank you.